Hey there, I'm Anthony Romano, and I'm going to tell you in this video the top 5 supplements you should be taking for maximizing your health, okay? And this is not going to be an exhaustive list, but it is going to be an exhausting video. But I'm going to explain to you how important these supplements are, because nobody's going to be able to explain the depth of how important each specific supplement is for your health. And this is the bare minimum that you could take, barring any, blood work data you might have that might indicate otherwise. Okay, so I'm going to explain this in this video, but before you do watch the video, subscribe to me, like this video, and also follow me on Instagram, because that's how I got the idea for this video. I basically did a Q&A on my Instagram, and one of the questions I had gotten was supplements I recommend for overall health, and that's the topic of this video, so let's get into it. So there's a lot in this video, and I'm going to make it very off the cuff. It's not going to be as research intensive. If you want more research, watch my other videos. And of course, I'm not a doctor, so don't just do anything stupid with anything of the information in this video. So let's get into it. Number 1, my absolute number 1 supplement everybody could probably benefit from by taking is vitamin D, A, and K. And it's very critical that you get this all in one supplement, because A, you're going to save some money, and you're going to get the forms of these vitamins that are the most conducive and synergistic in terms of the forms that are compatible with one another and the ease of use, because these are all fat soluble. These are the fat soluble vitamins that I talk about all the time. They're probably the most underdosed vitamins everybody consumes in their daily diet, and they're very powerful. People notice when they have more vitamin D, they feel better. This is why you get, seasonal depression or seasonal fatigue when there's less sun in the wintertime. So again, I could get into more of that explanation, but vitamin D3, A, and K2, these are the most synergistic forms of the vitamin. K2 is far more effective than K1, and you can only get these forms from animal fats, basically. So essentially, this is why I've had a lot of, vegetarian or vegan people using these types of supplements, but in general, this is something you should take every day in the morning. It's fat soluble, get it in a liquid form. It's drastically going to improve your mood, it's going to improve your bone density and efficient use of calcium in the body. And overall, as far as the number 1 supplement that will improve your health on a whole, most people, if you're not taking vitamin D, you're crazy, in my eyes. But basically, if you're taking D3, A, and K2, you're covering a lot of your health foundations, and a lot of multivitamins do not have them in appropriate forms. These, again, are fat soluble, so you'll have to take them with a fat food, preferably in the morning, because vitamin D3 can inhibit melatonin production, which is the sleep, basically, signal. So you want to have that in the daytime, and that makes sense because we typically would get vitamin D from the sun. Another thing too is you want to have this with fats, because these require cholesterol to actually be used. So fat and cholesterol are conducive to the functioning of these, which is another point on the never-ending stick that I use to beat people who say you shouldn't eat fats. But obviously I'm a big keto guy, but it's very powerful stuff. Now, on that same note, for morning fatty supplements, we're looking at a krill oil or a non-oxidized fish oil. So a lot of people know fish oil. EPA, DHA, they're your body's oil. If you were a car, this is your body's oil. I take these things far more than I've ever taken multivitamins, because I like to isolate my vitamins and have them at times where it's digestively appropriate based on the food I'm eating. And with fish oils, okay, you're taking it primarily for the EPA, DHA. Your brain is made almost entirely of those 2 fats. When you get it in krill oil, you're getting it in the phospholipid form, which is a far more effective form, and because it's wrapped in that phospholipid membrane. Now, granted, typically krill oil will throw in other antioxidants like astaxanthin, and that's beneficial as well for eyesight, overall smoothness. People take this for joints. Okay, there's a lot of other benefits besides just brain function and optimal health. But if you're going to go for the, cheaper route, it's going to be fish oil. If you really want to skimp out on these 2 supplements, you could get a cod liver oil supplement, provided it's not oxidized, which I'll get into in a moment, and that will contain some of the A and vitamin D. It will not have vitamin K, though, and you need vitamin K to appropriately balance out vitamin D as far as calcium usage goes. But basically, back to the fish oils, okay? Cod liver oil is a great substitute when we're talking, lower supplement budget, but this stuff, if you find it in the right places, you can find high quality stuff for relatively good prices. By the way, links to everything in the description. But when I'm talking about non-oxidized fish oil, typically fish oil is going to be in stores, and there's going to be lights on the bottles. They're going to be exposed to heat somehow, maybe in the processing, the transporting of these products, and the heat and light can oxidize the oil, which makes it basically rancid, and you do not want that. So if you ever see a fish oil supplement in a transparent container, that's a huge red flag. Generally, it probably indicates that the company has no clue as to how the stability of their product is going to be, and they probably just cared about, maximizing margins. Okay, you need something that is clear, and that's just one indication. Like, of course, when you see a fish oil product, the higher quality you can get, the better. So Norwegian cod liver, Atlantic fish oil, things like that are going to indicate better quality. But again, simple steps you can take to prevent that is make sure it's an opaque container, or at least a dark tinted container. It's not going to be exposed to lots of heat in the processing or transportation, and on the shelf. So let's get into the next one. So the next one is apple cider vinegar. Now, people hate and love this stuff, and I have a similar relationship with this stuff. I've been taking this for a long time, and this is actually one of the most pivotal supplements I think somebody can take, and I will explain. There's multiple reasons. Of course, people know there's beneficial bacteria in there. That's called the mother, but that's not even the main reason why I'm such a fan of this. The main reason I'm a fan of this is because of the acetic acid. So I've spoken about this in other videos for years. Acetic acid, the main benefits are you're going to have a better usage of glucose in your body, so carbohydrate fuel. And for a lot of people, most people are overweight rather than underweight, or rather than just in complete goal physique. And this is going to help you distribute sugar better and prevent excess blood sugar spikes when they're not necessary. So basically, this is some extra glucose control, and that is huge. That is honestly massive, because most people do not have good glucose control. Even for people who are already relatively good at using glucose in athletics, I will take this before activity, after a carb meal or not a carb meal, and I will notice better performance. And in the past, when I've had a continuous blood glucose monitor, I've noticed more stable blood sugar as well. The main thing is that this can help your body to actually put sugar where it needs to go in your muscles, and that is massive. But that's not the only benefit. But wait, there's more. Another thing too I love about this stuff is it is acidic, and your stomach environment, needs acidity. People will tell you you want your body to be alkaline and all that stuff. Many cells in the body function better when they're alkaline, but your gut bacteria needs to be acidic. Not gut bacteria. Your gut environment needs to be acidic. And when we're talking about breaking down proteins, acid is required. Many people are low in stomach acid, and this is a huge problem. I see this in people with low iron. I see this in people with low thyroid. I see this in a lot of things from the clients I work with. And when we're talking stomach acidity, this is a light way to kind of dip your foot into the water to get better digestion and basically better stomach acidity. And when you don't have good enough stomach acidity, you cannot break your food down properly, and it's going to ferment in your stomach and basically give you gas, and you're generally not going to feel good. And for most people, starting off with a hydrochloric acid supplement, so a stomach acid supplement, is perhaps, for most people, it's too risky, because you might have adequate stomach acid and it might not be worth your time, and it'll basically, make you have to run to the bathroom and give you a lot of stomach distress. Okay, this is a light way into that to get a little bit more acidity without any risk, essentially. And besides that, I will also say that you should not consume this with a big beverage. People will tell you to put it into tea or something. I do not recommend that. The acidity can also damage your enamel on your teeth. Most people say, oh, you can use a straw. I don't even recommend a straw. You just gotta man up and pour this into a cup and put some hair on your chest, even if you're a woman, and basically put a tablespoon into a cup and pound it back. But there is one little hack for that. You can get these little, those little liquid flavorings you get. This is not it, but those little stevia liquid Mio things. Get a stevia sweetened one and put that in the liquid once you have the apple cider vinegar in a cup, and then consume it, and it will be far more palatable. So that's another one right there. Next up is digestive enzymes. Now, these things are super powerful. I use them almost every day, and digestion is something we do every single day, and it takes up about 20 to 30% of our body's energy each day. And most people have a lot of bad practices with food combining, and this necessitates digestive enzymes, but in general, it's not good for your gut health. People most notably mix protein and carbs in the same meal. This is not a good idea. They both require two different stomach environments to be properly digested. Most notably, protein requires acid, carbs require a more alkaline stomach environment, and mixing the two causes certain proteins and nutrients to be inappropriately digested, and basically they'll rot in your stomach and ferment. And digestive enzymes can dramatically prevent that. I cannot explain to you the importance of digestion and how it should be a centerpiece of your health. Anytime you mix carbs and protein in the same meal, absolutely take digestive enzymes. I have so many of these things, it's just ridiculous, and I have ones for certain foods, but basically, even if you get a super powerful enzyme like this GNC super multi-enzyme, everything under the sun formula, that can be beneficial because you want your food to be properly digested. If you can do this, not only will you get better muscle gains in the gym, you'll get better fat loss results because your food is actually getting digested properly, but in general, it's going to save you years on your life because there's a phrase that says basically if you take care of your gut for the first 50 years of your life, it will take care of you for the next 50. Can't quite verify that at this point in my life, but I can certainly tell you that these things will help you out dramatically every time you have a complicated meal to digest, and it is super important, and it's an absolute health essential. So I would absolutely recommend you to get some and to learn how to use them properly by watching my other videos. Now we're getting into more of the ones that are kind of honorable mentions, but basically the only caveat is that you don't want to use these ones if you have outstanding health problems. So iodine. Iodine is dramatically powerful, and most people are low in iodine, but disclaimer here. The reason I didn't put this on an Instagram story the other day is because if people are high in thyroid hormone already, or their thyroid is overactive, you do not want to use iodine. So in general, this applies to a certain percentage of the population, and most people probably could benefit from iodine, but it's something that you want to only use after you've had your thyroid blood markers checked. So generally, if your thyroid stimulating hormone is very high and you have a low conversion of T3 and T4 thyroid hormones, that's another indication that you will benefit from thyroid basically supplements such as iodine. Basically, your thyroid needs iodine to actually create thyroid hormone. It also needs tyrosine, which is an amino acid that you can get from food, but you can also use them together. But again, this is something that you would only want to do if you are certain you have an underactive thyroid. But in general, iodine is one of the most critical minerals for brain development. It is one of the most critical minerals for overall health, for reducing metal toxicity in the body. It's one of the things that you will actually notice a massive nootropic benefit from, the brain benefits, in addition to performance benefit. Another thing too is that if you are cutting or you are doing even putting on muscle, boosting the effectiveness of your thyroid is always going to benefit you. And I take this stuff when I'm building muscle, I take it when I'm cutting in appropriate doses based on my blood work. So again, that's the caveat there for yourself and your own personal usage. But this stuff is powerful, and most people can benefit by taking it. Just be cautious with that and consult your doctor, blah, blah, blah. Another way to get that is through kelp. However, kelp is a natural source of iodine. People will tell you you can eat seaweed and kelp and stuff like that. It's not going to provide a tangible amount of iodine, and I've seen this with my clients. It's far better to actually use the liquid potassium iodide form if you are certain you actually need iodine, which most people will, but again, look into it from your doctor. Now, with kelp, you can take this and it will provide smaller doses, and in general, it's less likely to actually dysregulate thyroid in excess. So example, excess of this stuff could be problematic, excess of this stuff, far less likely. I have this in general because I do a lot of tests with my supplements. I take a lot of stuff and I mess around, obviously safely in accordance with certain blood markers. But again, this is an alternative to kind of lightly dip your foot in the water. But again, realistically, it would just be better for you to get your blood work done and then look into potassium iodide liquid form. Now, we're getting into some other supplements that are more luxury here. So this one is Magnesium Threonate. Magnesium is one of the most under-consumed minerals, and our soil is depleted nowadays from agricultural practices. We need more minerals. Our food is less magnesium rich, less mineral rich in general. Again, tying back to the iodine. Magnesium threonate is one of the most beneficial compounds for brain function when we're talking about very, very light ways to dip your foot into the water of using natural health supplements to boost your brain performance. So magnesium threonate is one of the forms you can actually take high doses of without having any GI distress, because too much magnesium is going to make you have to shit yourself. So don't do that. Too much of any electrolyte is going to make you do that. But threonate is magnesium is used in hundreds of cellular functions in the body. It is critical for relaxing your mind, your central nervous system, and having optimal central nervous system function. For a lot as well with the vitamin D and K and A, that will help your body to actually use magnesium properly. And another thing too is if you find yourself cramping up in the daytime when you're not exercising, that's typically a sign that you're low in magnesium. So that's every time I have a cramp and I'm not exercising, I generally will take that as an indication that I probably need more magnesium in the moment. Minerals are something that are diluted by water in your body, and they're regulated on a moment-to-moment basis. So when you are low in one of them, basically it will become apparent within a matter of minutes, because you might feel hungrier if you're low in sodium and potassium. You might get some cramps if you're low in magnesium. If you're working out and you cramp up, it's probably going to be that you're low in potassium. There's things like that where mineral deficiencies will make themselves obvious within short spans of time. So, magnesium threonate, very beneficial form for mental function and also for sleep. Magnesium is very powerful for sleep as well and general relaxation. But tying into that, because I've clearly planned this spur of the moment video out so well, ZMA. Now, zinc, magnesium. So anytime you're supplementing with minerals, you must be careful, and this is why I'm putting them towards the end of the video, because minerals are something that kind of have to be individually assessed. I'm not putting these in the category of things, well, I'm not putting ZMA in the category of things everybody should take, and I'm not putting iodine in that category either, because they're dependent on certain mineral markers that you can see from a hair mineral analysis or from blood work for thyroid. But zinc, magnesium, okay? You're not going to experience any problems from having magnesium threonate, probably not, and certainly no health problems. But zinc, magnesium, if you're low in iron, for example, taking too much zinc can make that even harder to reverse. And anemia is one of the most common and pervasive problems, and I assess it with all my clients essentially, as long as their goal isn't solely for aesthetics or for some reason like that. Generally, if you have low iron and anemia, you probably can't fix any other problem in your body until you address that first. It's your body's ability to oxygenate and build blood. So, back to zinc, you don't want to take this if you're low in iron. Well, you still want to get adequate zinc, but if you were taking iron supplements or something like that, it can conflict with this and the effectiveness. So for somebody who isn't, low in iron, and also they have checked their blood work, yada, 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 zinc, magnesium, critical for sex hormone production, especially in men, but also in women. Zinc is also critical for basically removing toxins in the body and basically preventing you from getting ill. But the thing is, when you are taking a zinc magnesium supplement, you do not want any other zinc magnesium supplement. I actually am such a huge fan of the Mutant ZMA. It's ridiculous because I don't like many other of their products. They use a lot of artificial sweeteners and artificial colors that I don't like. However, their ZMA is dynamite. So what they have in here, the thing that makes it so beneficial, is that you have the zinc, you have magnesium in a luxury form, bisglycinate, which is basically, along with threonate, one of the most beneficial forms you can get, especially as far as relaxation goes. People typically market ZMAs as a sleep supplement or even a testosterone support supplement. That's what they'll call this, even though it's just essential minerals. But you want certain amounts of certain minerals in a combination product because, again, supplementing with simply one can deplete other minerals. So with this one, we have the zinc, we have the magnesium, but you also have selenium and chromium, and also manganese. But with selenium, that's another precursor to thyroid hormone, which is, again, with the iodine. And if you're taking all of these and you found that it's appropriate deemed by your medical professional, then this will play out very well for you. Chromium is also key for managing blood sugar levels. And again, when we're talking about this apple cider vinegar, that will play in very well, especially if you're somebody who is insulin resistant, you're overweight in general. If you're generally not in ripped shape, your glucose control can be better. That's a good way to look at it. But for people who are insulin resistant or pre-diabetic, which is who I work with quite frequently, this combination is very powerful. But again, you'd have to assess this for yourself, and this is simply a recommendation which you could further get clarity on via blood work. Now, the only other thing I'll say on top of this is vitamin C. This is not something where it's, you necessarily have to get a test for to assess if you need it. Most people can benefit by more vitamin C, but here's a clarifier. Not all vitamin C is created equal. Most vitamin C supplements you find are going to be packed with sugar, and that's completely ridiculous and silly because sugar and vitamin C compete for the same glucose transporter. So basically, you can't use them both at the same time effectively. And what you want to do is you also want to get a vitamin C that's in a complex form or the ascorbyl palmitate form, which is the fat-soluble form. Basically, when you get a complex of vitamin C, your body is actually able to efficiently use vitamin C, which is basically the sodium ascorbate, ascorbic acid / calcium ascorbate in this product. And basically, when you use only one component of the vitamin C complex, it can deplete the other forms that the other, cofactors, you could call them, that you may be low in. So if you supplement with only the, ester C, emergency BS that you see at grocery stores, then that can actually lower your vitamin C levels because it's not a complete complex of all the cofactors. You want all the cofactors, and I prefer this NACA brand Nutri-C complex. Basically, you have the acerola cherry, rose hips. They even have quercetin, which is another antioxidant. In general, it's a beneficial compound, and especially during, tough times nowadays with illnesses going around, it's powerful at preventing illness. Your kidneys they can uptake loads of vitamin C, more than any other part of your body, your adrenals basically, because vitamin C is essentially a key component in preventing adrenal fatigue. And a lot of people, if they are consuming shitloads of stimulants and caffeine, that can be a problem. Vitamin C can benefit you, besides the fact that vitamin C is probably one of the most powerful antioxidants in the entire body. So another reason that needs no more explanation. So that's it for this video. It has been a long one and an exhausting one, but I had already warned you about this. Look into your own blood work, get more information about yourself from a medical professional, and then what you can do is you can start to use these in an effective manner. Generally, if somebody's in good health, then a lot of these things in combination can be a great foundation for a healthy life. And that is personally what I use. But again, I'll vary the doses based on my certain blood markers at certain times. Example, things like iodine. If somebody was low in iron, again, you'd be more cautious with zinc supplements. But in general, these things are powerful. They are going to provide a very tangible benefit in your lifestyle, and you'll be able to film 20-minute videos without pausing too much. Anyways, that is it for this video. I'm Anthony Romano. Go to my website, romanoketo.com, if you want coaching to work on certain nutritional issues and basically lifestyle habits. And I also help people get shredded, and I help them get rid of diabetes and insulin resistance and things of that nature, brain injuries, PCOS, depression, anxiety, lots of stuff like that, not simply just getting people ripped. So look into this stuff. All this stuff is powerful, and I pride myself on always trying to learn more about how to use these supplements properly. And in the future, I'm sure I'll make another version of this video that has a little bit more tweaks from experience with more clients as I build up my body of experience. This is all informed on that information, and, use it wisely. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, follow my Instagram. That's it. Peace.